Hey guys, got a 10-minute unrated game and the gorgeous wayward queen attack. My opponent's rated 679 and I'm going to defend my pawn with my knight. This is the point of the opening. So it's defending this pawn, that's what the queen's really attacking. Always love to see this. Okay. And now we've got a checkmate threat here, which we can stop a few ways. You can't bring the knight out, that doesn't work. You can harass the queen with g6. The queen's going to go back to here. Or you can play, for example, queen e7 or queen f6, defending this pawn a second time. I'm going to play queen e7. Now if white takes on f7, then the queen will recapture. This pawn is now defended twice. Okay, let's harass the queen, shall we? So how about knight f6? It develops, attacks the queen. This looks good. Now this pawn is under attack. So the queen can't go there or there or there. Ooh, bishop sack. And there the queen goes. Alright, so we're now up a bishop for a pawn. This pawn's still defended. My king has moved. So now what we need to do is get the king safe and continue development if we can. Bishop out to here looks good. That frees up this rook. Quite like that idea. Let's play that. Lines up the bishop with my opponent's king. This pawn is still defended by the knight. I've got 3 pieces out in the board. My opponent has 1 piece out in the board but has castled, and that's worth 2. So development is equal, but I am up in material. Now d5 looks reasonable. Puts 2 attackers on this pawn. It's defended twice. Also, rook f8 looks good. I'm going to play that move. Now my king can castle manually. This pawn is pinned, but can't move anyway. Alright, so I've got an option now. I could trade bishops. That would create a completely open f-file. I think that's okay. I'm up in material, why not trade? Okay, now I'm going to hide my king here. This pawn is still defended by the knight. This knight is defended twice. Fairly comfortable here. I still have d6 or d5. Right, what are you doing? What are you doing? Knight can't go there or there. So if I push h6 now, knight can't go there either. So the knight's simply going to have to retreat. Don't see any problem with that. Let's kick the knight away. This pawn is a weakness. That rook cannot move. However, if I play that now, I could lose this pawn. But on the plus side, I win a rook. But let's play principle. Let's just push d6. Giving the pawn a second defender. Okay, now I have 2 attackers on here, it's got 2 defenders as well. If I play this move now, he has to bring his knight out. 1, 2, 3 options. I can still win the pawn though, and then I can probably win this pawn, so let's try that. Let's try that as a tactic, or if I do that, we're going to get pawn takes. So he takes, I take, knight takes. My knight's here. I don't know, it's a rook, isn't it? Okay, now I get a free pawn. The rook has to move here. Now I get another pawn here attacking the rook. Okay, let's take the other pawn. Should I? Pawn attacks the rook. What's the rook going to do? Then I can move here and defend this pawn again. Let's do that. More material. Free stuff. We like that. Okay, the rook's under attack. Knight to here does defend the pawn, but it can get kicked away with h3. I can capture that pawn. Defends the rook. Knight will probably recapture. This pawn is also now hanging because my knight is in the way. The rook's not defending it, but if I do that, I lose a knight. So we don't want that. So yeah, I don't want to move my knight here because that, I think, traps the knight. It's got nowhere to go. So I don't want to do that. I'm going to save my knight this way. Also defends the pawn. Yeah, either of these squares defends the pawn. We're up 4 things. Okay. Do I want to take the knight or take the pawn? I'm going to take the knight. Maintains my pawn structure on this side. 2 pawn islands, better than 3. But if knight takes, that's fine. I'm happy to have 3 pawn islands in this case because I'm still up in material. Undefended pawn. These are defended. That's undefended. That's defended. All right. Now the bishop really wants to come out. So I'm going to pop the bishop here, attack this guy. See if my opponent notices. A sneaky attack. Okay, he's noticed that. That's good. And let's move. Ooh, I think this rook onto the open file. Now attacking this knight. If it goes here or here, I can capture with the bishop. Okay. Now how about this? Attack the rook. Oh no, my bishop. That was a bad move. That was not a good attack. That was not a good attack, Precious. Okay, do I want to trade rooks? Go on, let's trade rooks. Okay, now it's time to activate my king. My knight's guarding this square. So I want to get my king over to here. Key thing about this square is that we've got 2 open files, right? That one, that's a blunder. That's a blunder. So you see, when you've got open files like this, you don't want the rook to come in. So my king on here, or here, would be guarding these infiltration squares. Okay, so let's kick this guy, defend the pawn. If he comes here, he's attacking this pawn. That pawn's protected. Okay, I'm just going to push. He can't take there. Knight to here would be checkmate. Okay, let's swap off some stuff. I'm a full rook up. Okay, now I'm going to bring my king in. My king is now a powerful piece. The knight can't go there and can't go there, so there's no checks for the knight. White's king, however, is stuck. White's king cannot advance. Okay, I'm going to come and attack the knight. The pawn is defended twice. This is the only undefended thing on the board. Okay, and now, where can this knight go? Can't go there right now, can't go there. If I push this pawn, he can't go there either. So this pawn covers this square. And if he pushes his pawn, we'll see. Okay, that's the best move. So now I can capture, in which case knight takes. But if I push now, the knight can actually come to here because it's defended by my pawn and the king can't take. So what do we do? Okay, I'm going to push because this is now a passed pawn. The knight only has 1 square to go to, and that's correct. Okay, now I have a fork on 2 pawns here. That's undefended. King's defending these. There's no checks for the knight because it's right next to my king. Not on a diagonal. Okay, so I can now capture one pawn. Alright. Now let's come here, because I'm threatening this pawn, and that pawn's the only defender of the knight. So, the only real move here, I think, is for the knight to come back here and defend the pawn. But then I can... Ooh, okay. Let's swap those off. Now I can grab this pawn, and now the knight is undefended. So the knight now has to move. Can't go there, 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 or there, or there, or there. The knight has to come back here, but no. The knight is trapped. The knight is trapped, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Now I can simply push Charlie the c-pawn all the way because the king, again, cannot penetrate this file, and it's going to be game over. Alright, there's no stalemate, so we're okay. And now this wins. King has to go there, and checkmate. Excellent. All good fun. Right, let's see if we can get a rematch. Alright, I'm going to play 4. I'm going to play the Scotch. And this knight comes out. Okay, ooh, right. What is this? It's a hanging pawn, right? Now if queen comes out here, attacking the knight and the pawn behind it. So I could just kick the bishop, but there's no real rush. Let's develop pieces, right? There's no major threat, and when there's no threat that you have to respond to, or no immediate opportunity, because that doesn't really win a pawn because of the queen coming to e7. Knight has to retreat. I guess I could have, and I can't play d4 because that's pinned. All right, now the knight's attacking this, and I can't defend with the pawn. So let's defend with the knight and see if he wants to trade off his bishop. Ah, if he does that, the pawn hangs. So bishop takes knight, removes the defender of the pawn. Okay, that's not very good. I don't think that's very good. So bishop takes, knight takes is fine. Bishop takes, knight takes pawn. Yeah, well, how about pawn takes? Pawn takes is possibly best. Queen can't take. And now I can take with the knight. I can take with the knight. I can't take with the bishop because then, again, black can remove the defender. But if he does that, I can recapture with the d-pawn and I'm defended. So let's try that one. Yeah, if he takes here now, d takes, and the queen is then defending the bishop, right? Bishop is defended. And now I have a tactic. Bishop takes f7 check. My favorite move. Oh, okay, hang on. Hold on a moment. Hold on a moment. Bishop takes there. King takes. The queen's defended by the rook. So this is what we call no good. If our bishop moves, he's got queen takes, and then my king has to take, huh? How about that? If I take this with check, then he just takes with the pawn, we swap queens, nothing. Or even worse, bishop takes, knight takes, I take queen, he recaptures with the knight and doesn't lose castling rights. Okay, so I'm just going to drop bishop right back here. Now I'm expecting a queen trade, but this would not be advisable really for black at this point, right? Yes, it buggers up my castling rights. However, black is down a piece. There you go. Okay. But it makes sense for me. So now I've messed up black's castling rights, and now I get to come here threatening the fork on f7 with my knight, forking king and rook. That's a decent defense, but now we have doubled pawns, doubled and isolated pawns, and now I can castle quite safely. Alright, this is not bad. 2 pawn islands. Got a 4 and a 3 here. Black, however, he's missed it. You see, he defended that once and he forgot to defend it twice. After we traded bishops, the defender was gone, so now I get the rook. Now my knight is probably trapped here. I want to play like rook d1 and attack his knight. Okay, resignation. Okay, good, good, good. Should we play again? Let's see if he's up for some more. Do you want to play again? No, he's declined that. Okay, so yeah, interesting couple of games against a player rated 679. Unrated, so nothing to lose. Hope that's been interesting. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.